Hi, I'm Ahmed Daud, and in this session, we are going to see how we can avoid overfitting. Okay, in this, I will just give you an idea of what type of concepts we can use to avoid overfitting, but how we can implement them practically, we will see in coming sessions. Okay, so first of all, there are two major approaches that we can use to avoid overfitting. Actually, the problem occurs when we have a decision tree and our decision tree is keep on growing and it can lead overfitting. Okay, because our algorithm is designed in that way that it does not stop until there will be some impurity in some nodes or there is further decrease in impurity. It keeps on uh, growing. Okay, and how we can overcome this problem is that to put some restrictions on the growth of tree. Okay, so there are two approaches. One approach is pre-pruning and second approach is post-pruning. So first of all, what is post-pruning? By the word pruning, you can get an idea. We will prune the branches of the tree, or you can say we will cut some branches of the tree that are leading towards the overfitting. Okay, here you can see this is the tree that we have seen in the last session also. And what in the case of post pruning we do, we first grow all the tree. First we will get the full tree. We don't put any restriction on the algorithm. Algorithm keep on growing the tree until it will get the pure leaves or until there is no decrease in impurity. It will grow the whole tree. Then after getting full tree, we will prune the branches that are causing overfitting. Okay, that are restricting our model towards to predict the new data points, or you can say they that are not performing well on our testing data set. We will cut down these branches that are causing overfitting, and we get this type of generalized model. Okay, this is the technique which is post pruning. First we will grow the whole tree, then we cut the branches that are causing the overfitting, and that's why it actually called the post pruning. After getting full tree, we do pruning. Okay, now second approach is pre pruning. What is pre pruning? Pre pruning means we try to achieve our generalized model in first attempt. Okay, we don't let our algorithm to keep on growing. We put some restrictions on the growth of our tree. So how we can put the restriction on the growth of our tree? There are hyperparameters like you can see on the SQL documentation that can, if we will pass some values to that these hyperparameters, these can put some restriction on the growth of tree. So there is one of the example here. This is maximum depth is equal to 2. This is one of the hyperparameter, and we have mentioned here the value 2. It means we are saying that we want a tree that should have maximum depth of 2. Depth is calculated in that way. There is one this is one stage and this is second stage. So this is one depth at this is our root node, and at this point we can say this is our depth 1 tree, and at this point we can say depth 2 3 tree. If this branch or these nodes are further will grow, then this will go towards the depth 3 tree. Okay, here we have put a restriction on the growth of tree. We want such type of tree that can have only depth 2. Okay, in this way, if we will restrict our growth of the tree by passing some values to the hyperparameter of the decision trees, we can get a generalized model or some model that already have not such type of type only. It will grow in a manner as we mentioned. Okay, so for that, if we want to do uh, to get a generalized model by using the technique of pre-pruning, then 2 points we have to understand. First point is what are the hyperparameters of the decision tree. uh, we should have some understanding of hyperparameters of decision tree so that we can get an idea what values we should pass to these hyperparameters to control the growth of the decision tree. Okay. So if after getting the knowledge of hyperparameters or understanding of hyperparameters, we also have to get some optimal values of these hyperparameters. Okay. If we have some understanding of hyperparameters, now how we will, before to train a model, how we will get an idea that what should be the depth of that tree, that it will not lead to overfitting part. Okay. So we can run here grid search approach, that we will pass multiple values to these hyperparameters, and which model and which combination of hyperparameter values will give the model trained on a combination of hyperparameter values give some good result on the test data set or validation set. Then these combination of hyperparameter values we will select. Okay. And you can see here in the documentation of decision tree there are a lot of hyperparameters, and there are multiple hyperparameters that actually control the growth of tree, like their maximum depth control the growth of tree, mean sample split, mean sample leaf, mean weight fraction. These all hyperparameters, and these hyperparameters actually control the growth of the tree. Okay, so in the next session we will have a deep look on these hyperparameters, and after getting the understanding of these hyperparameters, then we will go towards the part of grid search CV, and then we will do some example. So for now, thank you.